Good morning, everyone. For those that don't know me, my name is Kaelee and I have been coming to Eastlake for roughly 4 years now. I was hoping I'd feel less nervous speaking my testimony the second time around today, but I feel just as nervous, so please bear with me, and I hope that maybe my story can encourage some of you. I'm 22 years old and I'm one of 7 girls in a blended family, all living together in the one house. So as you can imagine, life is pretty chaotic at home. I have always struggled with the idea of sharing my testimony, as I wouldn't say there has been one main pivotal moment in my journey that sparked my faith, but rather it has been the Lord continuously pursuing after me and calling me into relationship with Him. When I was younger, I didn't necessarily grow up in a Christian home. However, I was surrounded by Christianity. I went to a Christian school, my nana was a Christian, and I'd often go to church with her on Sundays. I always believed in God, and as a child, I remember being so on fire for the Lord. When I was about 10, I decided I wanted to be baptized, and I loved sharing about Jesus to others. From a young age, I received prophecies over me that mission work would be something I would do when I was older. The idea of doing missions always excited me because I loved the thought of traveling the world, a trait I get from my beautiful mum, as well as telling others about God. It was and is still a passion God has placed very strongly on my heart since I was a little girl. When I went into middle school, I felt there was a shift in my journey. I still believed in God, but I started experiencing anxiety attacks from a situation I had been in. It was also new to me, and to begin with, my anxiety was quite specific, triggered by situations where I felt I had no control. It continued to worsen over the years, and before I knew it, this anxiety I was feeling began making its way into every area of my life. By the time I was in year 10, it had consumed so much of my life that I started not being able to do any of the things that I used to love and enjoy, such as basketball, seeing friends, going to anything that involved a bigger crowd, despite desperately wanting to. I missed most days of school each week. I couldn't go into work or go to any normal events that I used to. I felt so trapped in my mind over these irrational and fearful thoughts that I had. I struggled to do anything that required me to leave the house. Because of all this, I then began struggling with depression, wishing to be able to do the things that I once did. I remember feeling so hopeless, and I couldn't see how there was a way out of feeling how I did. While I still believed in God, my relationship with Him at this point was not strong, but I know that I cried out to Him constantly, asking Him to please set me free from feeling this way. While at the time I felt no one was listening, I now realize that Jesus was sitting right beside me every step of the way, and that He had heard every single one of my prayers. Little did I know how He would use this pain I was feeling for His greater purpose and plan. Over the next few months and years, He slowly but surely set me free from these feelings I was having. 1 year later, when I was in year 11, I was able to walk into the same concert I was too anxious to enter a year prior. A year later, in year 12, I finally attended a school camp, which I had not been able to do for the previous 4 years. I went from missing multiple days of school each week to not wanting to miss one. These small steps began to help me realize there was a way out and that Jesus was paving the way. Over the years since graduating, I realized that I needed to make a choice to completely follow Jesus and surrender to His will for my life. Since then, He has completely set me free from my anxiety and depression that I had dealt with for so many years. So much so that I was blessed enough to spend 6 months of last year backpacking around the world with my amazing best friend Jazz, something that younger me would only have dreamed of doing. In John 10 verse 10, it says that Jesus has come to give us life and life abundantly. The life, joy, hope and purpose I have found through living for Christ and walking in step with His will for my life is abundantly more than my 15-year-old self would have ever been able to comprehend or imagine. He has continued to open doors in my life that I never thought possible. Most recently, He placed on my heart to study. And so this year I've started studying a Bachelor of Theology, which I've just completed my first semester of. In 3 weeks' time, I'm setting off to travel again with my other amazing best friend, Georgia, where we will be traveling through Asia and we will both be doing our very first mission trip in Taiwan. I would love to encourage everyone here today that there is true life that is found only in Jesus and that God is a good God. There is purpose to the pain we endure, and when it all seems too much and we can't understand it, He is good. God longs to be in relationship with each and every one of you and set you free from the troubles you face, just like He's done for me. Everything the enemy tried to use to harm me in my life, God has turned around and used for His good. And I know that He can and He will do the same for you. Thank you.